versus Speakeasy matchup. Both of those players popping off on their respective rosters. And I honestly, I think this is the real hurdle, right? This is the step for FAV. If they beat Invictus here, I think a lot of the talk changes about this roster because we have always talked about them being a mid-table team. You know, them making it to the playoffs. Not going to say it was a shock necessarily, but it certainly wasn't as expected as, say, let's just throw Cyclops in there. I mean, they've made it straight to the major, but it does certainly leave a bit of room for questioning, and there might be answers here. And Consulate, I never know, Raven. I never know on Consulate.
Yeah, definitely. It is that kind of map that can be a little bit tough, but yeah, looking based on recent form, I really feel like this is probably more up Invictus's alley. So certainly has been a brave choice by FAV Gaming. I'm just looking at these bans. I really like this Lion from Invictus. We did see a lot yesterday. FAV Gaming lean on Lion really like a serious amount with their attacks. Nothing is going to ingrain or burn out the memory of their Lion roam clears on Villa yesterday. So I think that's just a really good target ban for Invictus. It's just going to force FAV to change up the structure of their attacks and maybe not rely on the Lion so much. Maybe we'll see a bit of Dockerby out of them. I don't know. I just think either way, it's really good to try and just throw your opponents off like that sometimes with those target bans.
All right. You've seen the four-piece, Nomad, Maestro, and of course the Wamai to close things out on the banning phase. Any final thoughts before we get into this one?
I mean, nothing really dramatic with the remainder. Certainly know that Invictus do love a Maestro player. I mean, a lot of teams still really do because Maestro is quite a good operator, but that will be helpful for attacking because, you know, Maestro in particular, those Evil Eyes can be frustrating, especially in the garage defenses. Even those lobby press defenses, Maestro can be quite strong. So, yeah, it does change things up a bit there.
Said maybe the Dockerby, and it has been shown. Now, I do like that from Luna. In the actual pick phase, we saw him kind of toy with the Clash, obviously showing the Kaid, then swapping back to the Clash may kind of insinuate that it could be a basement defense, I guess.
Yeah.
And it might have... Look, it may well have just completely thrown Razor out there. Okay, Razor. So... let's see how this one plays out, though. I do just... Every time I see Clash on Invictus, it kind of terrifies me. Luna has been a bit of a nutter on that one.
He has. No, he's really a pest to the attackers when he's on the Clash. Just in general, Luna is certainly one of the most gifted shield players I've seen in Siege. He just really does a great job with it, and you can see his teammates really make plays off of it. I'm trying to remember whether it was Speakeasy or Hysterics that we saw yesterday or recently APAC South. It all kind of blends to one. But they got absolute like nutty 2 or 3Ks, multiple rounds in a row, just facilitated by Luna's info from the Clash.
Yeah. Certainly look out for that key point, and as that time starts to tick down, especially if we see like an admin take, meeting is just so hard to contest when you've got a Clash in your face there. So, and it looks like that's Luna's certainly going to be showing face across to admin, so regardless of the 6th pick, it will be well and truly spotted, if not in the prep phase. And as we start to get on the way here, do wonder for FAV. Okay, Shin's not really going to waste any time in actually taking admin control whatsoever. So regardless of the face check, FAV have done a good job of getting in there early.
Yeah, and even just a good job from Shin to stay on the desk. I mean, I'm not sure if they knew exactly that there was the Valkyrie below, keeping an eye on that camera or not. I think the camera was lit up as he shot it, so just a general good dodge, because now Hysterics has burned his C4. His vertical play is really not at all relevant. He's going to have to bail, and this is just really swift map control here from FAV in towards admin. As you said, though, they are going to have to try and deal with Luna in metal. It really is going to be a difficult thing to deal with, but the fact they're giving themselves a lot of time to do so is going to help a lot.
It kind of, I mean, I'm just going to say, kind of feels like they have watched Invictus's last match against Elevate on the final playday, because the way they're swiftly approaching this site with just haste kind of scares me a little bit for Invictus. They've been pushed back into a corner. Now, this could just be a default setup for FAV, you never know. I mean, I haven't really been able to watch much of their second 4 attacks on Consulate, but certainly this could be something that may cause Invictus a bit of struggle. But the fact of the matter is, a minute left, and there has not been a single piece of contact here from either team. 5 players on site turtling for Invictus is going to be a little bit tricky for FAV to deal with, especially with a clash in your face.
It really is, and also now that these smoke babes are starting to come in play, it just continues to deny access here. Now there is the meeting player at least giving this call out. Oh, okay, in deep. They're just going to start to really push through. KRez is going to get deleted by Joe. IG just stand up to the challenge here, Manic. 2 versus 5. It is falling apart swiftly for FAV.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter that Joe's got the triple kill. The way that Invictus had played that out was utterly perfect. FAV had put themselves in a decent position. What do you even do? Well, like, I feel like that was a bit of a last resort play at the minute mark, Raven. You know, it was literally just a full send in from the balcony. And I mean, not only are you trying to get past Luna, who is slowing you down that entire way, like you can see him, you know where he is, but also there's so many lines of sight open. They've got to deal with the players that are still in Printer. They've still got to deal with Long Desk. And also, it just, that felt really disjointed, I'm not going to lie.
It did a little bit. I think it was a bad call to go the yeet. Like, you have to deal with the clash if they're going to do so, because one thing to think about with the speed debuff as you're getting shocked is swinging on your opponents is no longer anywhere near as effective as it normally would be. I mean, the whole point of the swing or be swung ethos is like you're approaching it with pace, you're kind of taking Pika's advantage, and you're trying to catch your opponents off guard. If you've got a clash, calling out your position and electrifying you to slow you down, it completely negates the entire edge of that. So they were really relying on a disadvantaged gunfight or two to go their way. Yeah, I don't think it was a great call, but look, you got to try something sometimes. They'll hopefully see that that doesn't work.
Maybe. Maybe we'll see more of the same. I highly doubt that. I mean, look, at the end of the day, first round in, maybe Invictus aren't prepared for that. Maybe Luna's caught, looking in 2 places at once, and they do catch it out. You did see a player sprinting to Long Desk, so, I'm only going to theory craft here, but it might have been able to catch out Luna had he been a little bit more toward the unreinforced side of where that Long Desk player was coming from. Regardless, though, as we head down the basement now, it is all about how FAV approach this. Now, I mean, there's pretty much no point bringing any wall denial when you do have the Thatcher in, and you're going to see that right now. Invictus, they've got nothing to deny. I mean, maybe an impact, not even an impact grenade. So there you go. They're just going to be playing for the late game here.
Yeah, look, and that's definitely a call you can make sometimes as a team. You know that a lot of that wall denial is probably going to get taken off the wall here, so you may as well just try and pick a different op to get aggressive or deal with something slightly differently. I thought that maybe Joe might even play the mirror on the garage wall, because we've definitely seen that from Invictus Gaming before. They love to play some pretty cheeky mirror spots, especially on aggressive walls, but not to be here. And of course, FAV have identified that that wall is free. Getting it open straight away is going to put a lot of pressure back onto IG. Now you can see with those outlines, 4 FAV players completely stacked around the garage. I definitely wonder whether they're considering just the early yeet here.
I mean, somewhat it would actually be ill-advised compared to where the rest of Invictus are. You've got Jordan, who is sitting on the Warden, that'll be able to see through any of the smokes that you decide to place, which of course K-Razor does have. And then you've got Luna sitting all the way back with those smoke canisters that are going to be able to deny any plant at the back of White Van. It's a bit of a risky call if they were to send it. And you can see how methodical FAV are being here. Their early round setups, Raven, you got to say, actually quite decent. They're really putting the pressure back onto Invictus and ensuring they have nothing for free. It's just when push comes to shove that we need to see them tidy up.
Yeah, here it is. He has just gone in deep, but KRez got pretty heavy tags in the initial push, and this is where it starts to get tricky. I mean, look at the time, just under a minute 20 now. FAV have not really done a whole lot to progress the push other than open garage, and you have to make it move, and Type 1 has found that opening. They've still tried to go deep. IG are all over it. It's just, I'm not sure this is ever going to have a world where it works out for FAV unless they really hit some serious, beautiful shots to give themselves a man advantage.
Just from the outline, it kind of looks like Hysterics is trying to push down yellow here, and he might catch a player that's watching and waiting. That he does! Does he find a second? Hysterics with the heroic flank down yellow. That has just completely turned the round, regardless of whether FAV had any favor in it. It definitely felt like things were starting to get a little bit too uncomfortable for them. With 30 seconds left, Raven, there's just no chance.
Very tough, but I'll tell you what, Afro in particular is quite a nutty player for FAV. Typon certainly also by his own rights. But yeah, they've got a tough ask. They're just going to hard push Hysterics here. Feed him the quad for the round. He closes it out. And that was a seriously good round there from Invictus Gaming. But also, I'm going to say, I don't know about the call from FAV again on that one there, Manic.
Yeah. Again, it just, I mean, look, this is the thing, and I will always put my hand up and say, I'm not a great analyst. I don't understand the game on that micro level like most do, but there is no doubt in my mind, FAV start well. The first minute, they're very explosive. They burn utility from Invictus. They push them back. They gain space that they can use. However, things are just falling to pieces before, really that phase 3 comes in, which is that final minute. You saw it there, Hysterics on a flank. No one's watching that flank really. It by all means, it looked like whoever was on the Yana had absolutely no idea that he was on yellow. Number 2, I think it was. It's getting a bit dicey here for me, Raven. You don't want to give Invictus the first map because, after all, this is FAV's map pick, and the desk was saying it. I don't know whether this was the best map to take Invictus to.
Yeah, definitely. I know. When I saw the map video flash up, I was definitely questioning some of the decisions, and I mean, I still feel like I am after these first 2 rounds. Questionable decision with the just quick push into meeting in round 1, and now I guess the thing that I'm really questioning about what FAV did in that last round was it looked like they really did want to just do the quick push, but they didn't hard commit to it. They tried to be thorough and careful. Yeah, fair call. But once they actually tried to go in, they were pushed right back out by IG and just very slow to adapt to that. So in general, it just kind of feels like this is either a FAV gaming that's in a state of still kind of warming up a little bit, or maybe they just aren't as comfortable and consulate as maybe they thought they were.
Yeah. I mean, really, it has felt like for FAV that, number 2, I'm not going to say by any means number 2 has kind of dragged them through the mud, kicking and screaming, but he certainly has been a highlighted player and has really been stepping up, which is for Invictus. I mean, you can make the exact same comment for Speakeasy. He hasn't done a single thing so far in terms of any kind of kills. However, he has been impactful in the utility usage. But right now, you're looking at Joe, you're looking at Hysterics. This is a very scary prospect if you're FAV. And I mean, this is where you need to get a move on. You really don't want to let Invictus go around the world, take all first 3 sites. It would be quite detrimental. Only the first half of the first half. So it's still in that place where it hangs in the balance of FAV's performance.
Yeah, they really do need to kind of pick it up a little bit, but I don't know, they've still got plenty of opportunity. 4 rounds and a half remaining. Starting to take this admin control and get vertical down below, but they've got Joe in meeting in the way. Going to be a little bit difficult to flush out, but they've got some players in really good positions here to try and facilitate a pinch. But IG also have backup, so it is going to take a bit of effort to get this done.
Joe just managing to get back behind the shield, and now this is getting a little bit awkward for him. I think he's got support from Con, so the longer, I feel like the longer that FAV continue to burn into this, Luna gets into a position and Jordan manages to find the pick, very quickly traded out by Afro. A minute left, and right now, is that Diffuser out on balcony? I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is, Manic.
Oh no.
Or is it in meeting? Can't quite tell exactly where that is. It's a bit awkward, but either way, oh yeah, it is on the balcony. There you go. That is not going to be easy to recover, especially with 40 seconds to go. They're going to have to either get a move on or just hard push these frags. But IG is still very well spread out and very well positioned to back each other up. Joe in particular, he's still hanging out in this meeting behind the shield. He's just going to sit here and absorb these flashes all day long. And with less than 30 seconds to go, Manic, FAV, time to get the skates on. Number 2 starts to kick it off.
Oh, they've gone all in on that top floor. Luna's bought them a little more time, but that is the kill that FAV were looking for. Now, they still don't have Diffuser. They're getting it right now. 10 seconds left to get this down with Jordan taking down number 2. It could have been detrimental, but it's all on the Speakeasy, who has to go massive. That's a nice pick. And now in the 2v1, what can he hit? Not again. Speak of his name. Typon has dropped to half HP as well. Speakeasy, he is right On the verge!
Oh.
What an unbelievable play from Speakeasy. The 1v3 clutch to give Invictus a third on the trot. That is incredible.
I can't recall Speakeasy losing any of these clutches in stage 2 or something like that, Manic. It's absolutely incredible that he just manages to pull these situations out constantly. Credit to FAV Gaming, they looked like they were in an absolutely unwinnable position with about 40 seconds to go. That diffuser was always going to be tough to recover from the balcony. And the fact they managed to do so while finding the picks and actually getting it to a position to plant, look, I think that was quite impressive, but Speakeasy just had to double down on the impressiveness of that round and just ensure that he still had the spotlight at the end.
Wow. It's just insane because you kind of felt like, I have no idea who was the last remaining there for FAV, but you felt like the crosshair placement was perfect on the other side of the circle. Like, you did not think there was a chance that Speakeasy could find that kill. Mind you, all in a day's work, all with the SMG-11. I'm pretty sure all headshots as well. Like, just utterly horrifying what this man can pull out. And right now, if you're FAV Gaming, man, your back is up against that wall. What do you do? How do you respond to something like that? Now, this is a FAV timeout, which you have to make. You have to make this work. This next round, I can't stress how crucial it is for FAV to win.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a great call to go for the TAC timeout right now. And they look like they are prepping for all kinds of scenarios right now. They've got Afro on the Nook. They're going to do a real late 6th pick to Habana. So I feel like they've read into the IG bait again, trying to make it look like it's going to be Garage, especially by showing that Kaid. But looks like they haven't quite fallen for it, because that 6th pick to Habana makes me think that they're not thinking that this would be a Garage attack.
I really hope that they had read into the fact that it's not Garage, considering Invictus won it in the 2nd round. You know, like, the way that they'd picked into that Ben Raven kind of looked like they had. You know, like, that's the crazy thing is FAV, you know, the Thermite really is only brought on Garage. So,
not gonna lie, it baited me, so thank you.
Hey, you never know. You never know. Maybe it was enough to bait FAV out. And I guess, you know, the tactical timeout as well probably brings a certain amount of discomfort, or maybe even miscommunication, because you're trying to talk about what is going wrong and where you're trying to fix things. And, you know, you really, a minute in the scheme of things is a lot of time to sit back and talk, but it's also nothing, right? You get through maybe 1 point and all of a sudden you're in trouble. And we as commentators know that best, Raven. You can't stick for a minute on one topic like I am right now. Unless, of course, it's the start of the round, in which case you can.
It's a free game then. But
yeah,
no, I feel you. Looks like a pretty similar method here from IG. Again, the C4 is going to be a bit of a waste there from Hysterics. And Fav's doing a great job to deal with that. Now, guess what we're going to be looking for here, Manic? It's going to be Fav to not just rush straight through meeting into the clash.
Hopefully not.
Really curious to see how they decide to deal with it this time, because they have gone pretty much the same kind of push. Oh, the timing on this nade from
bang.
Shin. Oh, that's pretty unfortunate. If he was just holding that angle normally, that would have been GG for Hysterics.
Who, mind you, is having quite an incredible game. 5 kills in as little as 3 rounds, and might have been able to put him, or at least send him to the bench for this round. Now, once again, Fav just setting up there. Seems to be a comfortable approach for this meeting console take. And again, Luna's back up against the wall in meeting. I couldn't imagine how hard this would be to deal with. I mean, like, I know how frustrating it could be in ranked or even a casual match dealing with a clash, but coming up in this kind of a situation where Invictus have such a strong and confident hold, oofed.
Absolutely true. Oh no, the self-stun from a teammate must have accidentally thrown it into the back of Shin. Not sure whether he ended up throwing that grenade or not. I think he's pulled it back into his pocket. No, actually he did throw it. Oh, hasn't quite worked out. Luna is still being a pest at the meeting door. Now with a minute to go, this is where it gets very testing for Fav. How are they going to adapt to this? They've got a player starting to repel meeting balcony. Got a couple players around meeting, but without getting these Habana pellets on, it's going to be so hard to push Luna out of this corner, and Joe is here to back it up and try and shoot them off.
And like the only way you can contest Joe right now from where FAV are is to straight up peek this and maybe might be able to do something. You could see the player on top of Spiral was looking to do just that. Shin has opened up a massive opportunity here to take control, but has he been taken down? It doesn't matter. Luna's gone down in the meantime, trying to hold and support. Oh, it's chaos for FAV, but they are thriving in it. Hysterics and Jordan now to clutch up big, Raven.
And you know they can, but at the end of the day, Afro, he's in sight. He's going this plant down right now, Manic. Hysterics is ready to pounce, but post-plant situation.
Waiting for the right timing here. Hysterics getting into position. Jordan needs to get a move on and start to pinch at the same time. Hysterics being hard watched by the player in meeting. It's Afro, perfect nade, but it's just going to force him back for a hot second. Jordan finding the pick on the number 2. Surely they can't make this possible again. That's big from Typon, who's holding out on the rappel. My goodness, if Hysterics wins that fight, I don't think there's a chance that Typon can deny that. So, monstrous there. Monstrous.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same thing when I saw that Typhon was still on the rappel. If Hysterics had striked, which I feel like that was his go code. Once he found out that there was the rappel player on console windows, he was just like, "Yep, I'm picking this." And you're right. If he'd actually won that gunfight, that could have been another clutch for IG. But not to be. We can celebrate FAV. They did a really good job adapting off some really great aggression from Shin at the top of Spiral there. Yeah. That really did facilitate the opening they needed. So good adaptation from FAV and good to see them get around on the board.
It's a really good point. I mean, had Shin not have been able to push that far, I don't think that you get Luna out of position there. By the looks of it, they had mute jammers on the wall that was denying the Hibana from trying to rip those pallets out and displace Luna that way. So, you know, all things considered, that may well have been the entire linchpin, right? Just that one single kill, pushing in the bathroom, it causes a bit of chaos, it causes a bit of concern. And they kind of leg it. Now, we are going to see Archives and Tellers for the very first time. I love this from Invictus. Mainly because you would just expect them to either reattempt or go to basement here. You would not think in a million years that they would go to Archives. So I'm a little bit worried here for FAV, but no doubt they'll have their setups and they'll be more than ready for this one.
Yeah, well, to the point that we were kind of talking about in the last round when I got a little bit debated in Obselect, K-Razor has gone for the Thermite, and yeah, on console, traditionally, you know, the Thermite is most useful on the garage attacks. So I don't blame them for trying to think this is garage. It probably normally would have been, right? But this is a good call from IG to just change it up a little bit and keep FAV on their toes. And yeah, I'm really curious to see how FAV deal with this and how they adapt, because the setup looks like a tricky one to deal with from IG. Like if you're trying to get this vertical control, there's a Rooney Gates, and there's so much intel gathering to assist this defense.
It's kind of more talking about the bamboozling pick than I was actually the setup. You're 100% right. It is going to be quite a lot for them to deal with. And once again, I just don't think that you can afford to go to Archives Tellers without that pulse. It's just such an impactful operator to have. Get so much information. Hysterics, that's filthy, man. The 1 second that it looked like K-Razor was not looking onto the balcony, and he capitalizes and gets away cheerfully. Oh, God.
Just kind of stacking up a little bit, but Joe's in a very tricky situation. I don't think he can get out, and Shin is just going to catch him off guard there on the quick peek from admin, so at least FAV have managed to find one back. And it's funny, when Hysterics got that run out, oh, that's dirty from Luna. When Hysterics got that run out, I was like, oh yeah, FAV haven't been taking Nomad. It reminded me that Nomad's banned.
Yeah.
But guess who banned it? It was FAV.
Yeah.
So their best counter to a player like Hysterics, they actually banned themselves, but just like that, Manic, Shin is just all on his lonesome.
This is just a clinic from Invictus. They are really showing us how to approach this site, and unfortunately FAV have not really been able to catch anything out here. Maybe Shin might be able to bring it back into a 1 versus 3, but it doesn't look like Invictus are going to continue to peak this, not isolate those 1v1 duels. They're trying to swing at the same time. This is dangerous. Shin now pulls out the primary. That's at least 1 down, 3 to go. Surely this isn't doable.
I mean, he did get Luna pretty low. Luna's essentially one shot with the L8, so, I mean, he could definitely win a 1v2 scenario. He's still got 40 seconds, bit of time. Needs to land these shots though and actually finish this off sooner rather than later here.
Oh,
Oh
my
no, Shin.
goodness, Shin. The shots through the wall are just not connecting. He's so unlucky. And that should be to his own demise. Hello? Oh, that's filthy.
Jeez.
Jeez Louise, he nearly hits the flick onto Jordan as well. That, I mean, that was spiraling out of control. I'm not going to lie, Raven. For a second there, I was starting to believe that storyline. I was starting to believe that Shin was going to do that. There were two near misses on the shots through the wall, just not connecting. But that is just such a massive round from Invictus. You know, a 4v1 that they put themselves into, and boy, did they really take FAV to town.
Yeah, they did. They really did expose that FAV were maybe just a little underprepared for that rounds in particular. So yet again, great call from IG to continuously change this up. And again, they haven't gone back to Garage. They're just continuing this debate. FAV have hard stuck the Maverick and Thermite. And for console and meeting room, it's not going to be that helpful. I mean, Thermite could try and breach the meeting wall, but you actually have to stand at that wall to place the exothermic charge. That's not going to be easy. Luna is still on this clash, so they're going to have to either deal with that wall, or maybe it's about time they try and switch up the push and do a yellow stairs CO kind of push.
Well, Hysterics has missed 2 C4s on the early round play, so maybe it's third time lucky for him over by Study. It's usually, I believe it was whoever was playing the sledge. It's kind of them always leading the charge here. I mean, this is a bit of a spicy lineup from FAV. And the fact that, you know, like number 2 is on that Capita. I genuinely think that FAV can really make something work here with that Capitao. It just brings so much utility that may actually just be able to single-handedly shut Luna out, at least for a plant, maybe to gain some space on site. But the biggest thing here is them capitalizing on that.
That's exactly right, and look, it still looks like they want to get this admin control, and Hysterics is yet again primed and prepped with this C4. He wants to try and make this one land. This is going to be another duel to take admin control on the third attempt of attacking it.
And very quickly, of course, we have a game off stream, which is Q Confirm and Fnatic, that is currently going the way of Q Confirm, 4-0 up on Chalet, which is their map pick. So we'll keep updating you as that match goes on. But for now, as we look back to this game, back to this matchup, Invictus are really starting to show their prowess on Consulate. And Raven, you do just have to wonder, this South-North storyline, goodness me.
I mean, yeah, look, so far looking pretty decent for South, but we'll wait and see whether they can close out both of the current ongoing BO3s. At the moment, Invictus, as you said, they really are. It feels like they are just running rings around FAV on this map. And right now, FAV just look a bit stuck. I don't think they're fully able to decide how they want to approach meeting, because again, they're not set up for it very well in their op select, because they got absolutely baited on the site selection by Invictus. And I think that just again points to another strength that Invictus has had in this matchup. This C4, it finally lands. Taipon, though, only downed, not eliminated.
We did say third time lucky finally comes about. And now just look where Luna is. He's going to allow Hysterics to get back to site. Hysterics takes one with him as well, coming up the staircase. He now has that control of the admin long site. This is dangerous. And just like we said, there's the Capitao starting to put a little bit of pressure on Luna, but there's no one there to capitalize. And I believe that was 2 of the bolts that he's being used now.
Yeah, he can just continue to step around, and so does Hysterics. He continues to step around the attacking positions of FAV. He's got them down to this 3v5. Number 2 has stepped up here to answer back. Does keep it just within reach, but with 30 seconds to go, Manic, very minimal site presence from the attackers. This is going to be a tough execute.
Joe's watching long desk as well, so Luna only has to worry about balcony and the entrance from admin. He is absolutely cruising right now. Joe does go down. This makes things a little bit more interesting. It's starting to become a little bit unraveled here for Invictus. You can see the peaks coming through. That's big. Luna gets caught off guard as push comes from long desk, and somehow, some way, FAV fight back to ensure a 4-2 first half.
Yeah, just a couple of really small errors from Invictus kind of cost them that round, but credit to FAV. Look, they did a great job to bring that back because it seriously looked lost for a lot of that round. It just didn't look like they were going to be able to find the openings they needed. Now, there was that team kill, in fact, onto Luna, so getting that clash out of the way definitely helped. It all happened in the last couple of seconds. It was smoke damage, so he just was taken low by the thermite from what it looked like, and just unfortunately, the smoke plume ended him. But is what it is. Still a very strong half from Invictus. It's very representative of this match. I could easily say that Invictus are firmly in control, at least from what we saw in that first half.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as
You
many
do have to
bombs as
say
they
that
can.
that last round from FAV is really quite large, all things considered. You know, that is a big round that they needed on the board. Now,
Attackers have discovered the
as we
location
have a
of the
look
bomb.
back at the stage 2 results, it is massively one-sided for APAC North. 74% of all overall rounds go to the defensive side. So headed into this half, I think they'll be really happy knowing that they do have the favor here. Whereas the thing is, for, you know, when we look to the APAC South, it's not as skewed, right? It's nowhere near as blown out of proportion. It's 58% overall. And I really do wonder for FAV here, like, how good is their defense going to be? You are coming up against Invictus, who are good on this map and have shown that their attacking is just as good as their defensive side. Little bit worried here. Bang! Oh my god, that's not good.
That is not good. And look, I don't know if that was actually a spawn peak attempt or not. I think it was, but yeah, look, I don't blame Fav for trying to be aggressive or anything like that, or trying anything, really. Always good to do so when you're down. And there it is, Afro with an aggressive peek from the bottom of Visa Stairs. Takes out Jordan. That is certainly going to help taking the sledge off the board, on top of the fact Jordan's actually having quite a bit of a banger. So good answer back from Fav at least.
That it is. Now, Invictus start to get into a little bit more of position. However, they've got 2 players to deal with over toward lobby. It's Afro. I believe that was K Razor, who is making his way to piano. So there you go. Oh, Joe. The quick peek around the corner. No information gained, but with a minute 40, I mean, Invictus have so much to play with here. They still have the thermite up. They'll be able to get those garage walls open, put the pressure back onto FAV on their defense. And with Joe taking control of piano, this is looking pretty concerning, I gotta admit.
Definitely some really good progress here from IG. As you said, they've kind of set themselves up pretty well to be able to make something happen. Still having that thermite on the board, very crucial to be able to open that garage. But they did lose the sledge, so the verticality and the ability of what they can do with piano control certainly going to be hindered a little bit. Thankfully for them, though, they have 6 breach charges and the secondary shotty on gridlock. So I think they still have plenty of backup plans. And yeah, look, this is looking quite good from IG, but less than a minute to go now. They're going to have to start progressing this just a little bit further.
I mean, with garage wall open, it essentially allows, oh sorry, with it still closed, it allows FAV to just play so freely on those vertical lines. I'm kind of surprised that Invictus haven't at least opened it up and put the pressure onto them just yet. That's why they needed to get rid of the mute jammer that was on the garage wall, which number 2 is now going to start to open. Oh, not number 2. He's going to try to go for an early C4. We'll say that. In it comes, but it's not going to connect because Luna's out of there. 20 seconds, Raven. My God, where's this round gone?
Yeah, it has dissipated really quickly, and the aggression is punished by Luna. That is fantastic for him to counter that peak. And right now, number 2, very important position. He gets a big pick. 10 seconds left, Manic.
Yeah, there's no one putting pressure on him. Where are Invictus? They're starting to push in, but it's too little too late. What does Shin have? It's Speakeasy that trades, but he can't get any more done. Fav with a solid hold. Invictus just run out of time, and they're left scrambling to try and find the picks.
Yeah, they did just leave a lot of that a little bit too late. I mean, they did a really good job with the early and mid round. Just very unfortunate they did lose Jordan. I mean, that was a really good trade back from Fav. I think it was Afro from memory that got it. It ended up being really critical, I'd say, in the grand scheme of things. It did end up slowing down IG's progression, obviously, and also Jordan being a bit in form at the moment in this game. to take a bit of fragging power off the board. So yeah, we did see a lot of it happen last minute, and just some really important positionings that were held strongly by FAV, in particular number 2 on the side of white. I think just the aggression that he had around that main garage wall did really help just stunt that final part of Invictus's push.
And you know, you got to remember, yes, we did see the sledge go down very early, but we still had 6 breaching charges that could have opened up some of those vertical lines, maybe put the pressure onto the player at white there, which was number 2. Maybe number 2 just hears the breaching round and just, well, not breaching round, sorry, the breaching charge and just legs it. Maybe you don't even see him try to contest after that point, but regardless, right now, you know, FAV would be very happy with the way that they've started that one. And now it's all about, what do Invictus have? You know, how do you bounce back from something like that? Not that it was so detrimental. You still had so many positive moments in there. And surely, like FAV, you know, we saw that in the first 2 rounds of their attacks. First 2 minutes looked pretty clean, not gonna lie. They were doing really well on getting the control that they needed. And then it kind of spiraled a little bit. So maybe we're gonna see similar signs here from Invictus, but we won't just hold on to hope like that straight off the bat. We'll wait a couple of rounds at the very least here, Raven.
Yeah, interesting to see Teller's Archives come out at this point in the defense's rotation, but do like it. They're going to use these X-Kairos to make a breach onto garage wall, so they've got access this way. It is mostly going to be this garage push across from IG. They're not going to do what I would say is probably the more meta attack, which is clear out admin, get vertical, try get plant in tellers. At least based on these early positions, that's not what it looks like.
What I find interesting is FAV kind of, I guess you either opt for the Valk or you opt for the Pulse here. And I guess they're more comfortable with the Valk. 6-1 if you are comfortable with that, that's completely fine. And now Invictus are kind of already into garage, getting a fair bit of control from that west side across. So FAV just, they will need to be a little bit cautious here with all their players up on the second and first floor. I think it's just Shin who's down below. Right now Invictus are doing a really good job at spreading their attack and kind of isolating ones, just not over-peaking as of yet.
I think it's just going to be very important in general. If FAV can just continue to have men up on the board, then they're going to look deadly towards the execute phase. Now, just carrying into the final minute, Invictus have started to push closer and closer in towards objective. Really curious how they are going to finish off this push, because they haven't really destabilized many of these site positions. Shin, in fact, is the only one in the basement, but of course there's a lot of quick drops down to site. You have to be careful though, because if you're trying to retake garage, 2 hatch drops are pretty easy to watch. Of course, there are 2 stairwell entrances to watch, but at the end of the day, all that nade could have been huge from Jordan.
He almost needs to follow up the second he throws that nade. And look at Shin, he's peeking aggressively right now, kind of a little bit of an off angle outside of the door frame. Jordan wasn't expecting it, so he gets tagged up in the slightest amount, but that's a big pick. That's Shin, who was the player on site, and just like that, Invictus collapse. And FAV, they cannot hold the weight. It is only number 2 left. 20 seconds to find all 5 or deny the plant. The kit's down in, at the very least, a position that number 2 can hold, but not for much longer. Hysterics coming down the Visa stairs will deal with him handily, and that is a solid, solid round from Invictus.
It really was. They just did such a great job taking their time and just really surrounding the setup that FAV had. And once they kind of hit the go button, they just did it beautifully. It came down to that 1v5. It was always going to be tough to be able to be brought back from that point for FAV. So yeah, Invictus, that's a really good answer back. And 2 rounds now separates them from taking this map. It's starting to get very deadly here for FAV. They really need to get this next round, because otherwise they're staring down match point and they're going to have to get 3 consecutive rounds to save it, which obviously they haven't been able to do this entire game.
Now, unfortunately, Joe has crashed, meaning that we will just be waiting for that wonderful human to...
+7 as opposed to +4. Even his cost, number 2, had the highest cost for the entire day at 83%. That's unreal. So I don't want to put it all on my man. It's certainly a team effort. It's just that's the difference I'm seeing compared to yesterday here for FAV.
And you know, like when you, I guess a better indication is not how a player plays on one day, but how they've played across, let's say, a season, for example. And number 2, by all means, was, you know, in and around the top 10 players from APAC North, but certainly wasn't performing to this kind of standard. So maybe it's kind of mellowing out here in Play Day 2 of our playoffs, and this is where FAV need to step up as a team overall. And as we come back into this game, they've had so much time to talk about this. And I mean, so have Invictus, there's no doubt about it. But as we look at, like, you know, where things have kind of gone wrong for FAV, I mean, that timeout seemed to have been, in the first round, seemed to have been a massive pivot point for them. They went on to win 2 of the next 3 rounds. And maybe this might just give them the time to mold things back over and kind of correct their, or right their wrongs, if you will.
Yeah, definitely was a good opportunity to talk things through for both teams, of course. But at the end of the day, FAV's the team that's behind, so they're the ones that, you could argue, they're the ones that have to take control of the game, and they have to try and turn this around. So whether that's through adaptation or, you know, just generally changing their playstyle, wait and see. Really love the use of the studio gates on the CO windows here. It's going to just be an extra layer of something to coordinate, especially given that IG are doing this yellow side push as opposed to the admin push that we were seeing from FAV.
Oh, wow. Shin's so lucky to get away there. Kind of knows that he's stuck in no man's land at the moment, but it doesn't look like anyone's going to be putting the pressure on him. Surely not. Oh, the timing. Luna absolutely rips him to pieces as he comes through. Wow. Talk about a player trying to do his utmost to secure the round. Luna is forcing that fight to con, slows down for a second because he knows that they're all in perfect position, but the flank from Afro is perfect. That's diffuser drop, but Invictus now know that there should only be one on site.
Yeah, it's about them rebounding here. Jordan looks like he's going to go in and recollect this diffuser. Now they really just have to be careful on this approach because very quickly, K-Razor and Afro could turn this on its head and still clutch this out. Invictus Gaming certainly in the driver's seat right now, though, to push this to match point.
Really smart from Invictus to slow things back down here. You rush in that moment, you give away another kill, it is 2-2, and all of a sudden, you're trying to pick up the pieces from a round that looked so positive. Now that positioning of the Yokai drone will be of the utmost importance because it looks like the CEO take is exactly what Invictus are looking for. They've got 2 players out on the rappel. Jordan is over by Yellow Stairs, so it's all, oh, it's actually Hysterics, sorry. Jordan has made his way across to CEO window, rappels in. Now the diffuser can go down.
They got the info though, bulletproof camera, that gets denied. They had a Yokai in sight. Echo gets denied by Joe, all on Afro's shoulders right now to save this. The C4 is gonna miss. Big move from Jordan. Hysterics closes it out, and that is Invictus Gaming moving to match point.
Methodical, cool, calm, and collected. That is the best way to describe what Invictus have done there. They throw a little bit of magic at the start of the round, win a couple of ones, displace the members of FAV that were holding what we would consider pivotal moments. You know, Yellow Stairs, you try to hold that for as long as you humanly can. But Invictus, they just slow things down. The second they have that man advantage, they're not looking to try and force any fights. They're not looking to try and outplay FAV immediately. They get themselves into the perfect position and play from there. And right now, they are deservedly on match point. Mind you, on FAV's map pick. This is huge.
Defenders, protect your bombs from
Is
being
definitely
defended.
huge. And now FAV Gaming, they have to double the amount of rounds they've even got to this point just to save the map. Feels very unlikely if you ask me, but you never know. Certainly can happen. They might be able to dig deep here and just really muster up a fantastic comeback. But Invictus Gaming are just looking really good right now. They have certainly come to play today on day 2 of the APAC playoffs.
I guess when you look at it like this, you know, where I have been, not so much you, but I've been painting FAV in a bit of a negative light this game, purely from what we've seen. However, we have to remember that the first half could have finished 3-3 with, if not for Speakeasy's 1v3. So right now, this would be a 5-4 match, right? So it's not like I think I've been writing them off a little more than maybe I should have, and certainly they've put themselves into a position where this is still doable, but I mean, it's the difference between the good and the great teams is the ability to close out games when you're ahead. When things are going well for you, it is all about making sure that you confirm that one. Because moving forward, I mean, Clubhouse, I don't really know what to expect on Clubhouse, I'll be honest, but certainly going with Invictus, you'd have to feel they're pretty comfortable here.
Certainly looks like it. So if they can maintain that comfort, I definitely think they can close it out. But look, a bit skeptical of what they did with Garage Cafeteria last time. Mainly just out of a stall in the mid-round, which was a bit strange because they had all the map control they needed. They just took a long time clearing the wall denial, which was just in the form of mute jammers. Same again for this round. And then by the time they got the wall open, it was just a little bit messy. They couldn't quite close it out. So look for them to tighten it up here, but FAV have a pretty extended roam on this top floor right now.
It's all about how Invictus decide to deal with this one. So far, it's been relatively quiet around the nooks and crannies, and again, a main point of contest will be getting into that first floor, securing lobby. They do so by starting to eliminate those flanks to begin with, and to be honest, that will force those roamers back sooner rather than later. Doesn't look like FAV are playing into it just yet.
Really like the patience from them, and right now, number 2, I thought he was going to re-peek towards Circle Desk Speakeasy. He was holding that pixel, would have been his death, but thankfully has avoided it. But man, again, 2 minutes gone. Invictus Gaming have started to progress here. They're going to get this wall open. It's going to put that pressure onto the defense. But this is really going to come down to what do Invictus Gaming do, what the FAV do with this flank opportunity. Do they still do it or not?
Open up the first side, and now the second as well. Joe may well play a bit of a pivotal role here as we see slowly and surely Invictus picking up the pace. But Raven, 30 seconds, and once again, it's going to come down to this 5v5.
It is, yeah. No damage done on either team right now. But IG have the vertical presence. They have Garage Wall open. They just need to hold the right angles and try and do this. But FAV have the denial. They have the opportunity. Here it comes, Manic.
Oh, huge shot from number 2. A moment to shine for yesterday's man of the match. And Joe is getting... Oh, Hysterics goes huge. Can Jordan support? It has gone down. The kit is out of the hands of Invictus. Just not being able to help his player there. That is so unfortunate. But what a round from FAV. Talk about composure. They've got it in bundles.
They do, and that is pretty unfortunate. Jordan had the chance to ice that for Invictus Gaming with that vertical. If he just denied even the throw or detonation of the C4, that would have been it. But unfortunately, that's just how it works sometimes. You miss shots, the other team will take opportunities, they get the rounds. FAV, though, they need to get 2 more just to save the map.
Guess that's the biggest problem here, Raven, is we have to go back to towers. We have to go back to that top floor. Maybe we see lobby. The decision right now is to go to towers. And I mean, 3 rounds in a row, but now 2 are going to have to come back to back for FAV here. It's certainly a tall order, but one that if they take it one step at a time, 1 foot in front of the other, they will be able to do. Now, very quickly, just to update anyone who may be wondering what the score is on stream, for Q Confirm and Fnatic, it's currently 5 apiece on Chalet. Q Confirm's map pick, and I mean, all things considered, Fnatic have made a massive comeback there. If you do want to check that one out, I believe it's twitch.tv/Rainbow6TW. So that's where you can catch that if you're wondering what that scoreline is. But here and now, with Invictus on map point, FAV have a huge uphill battle to fight.
They definitely do, because again, that last round, sure, FAV walked away with the victory, but Invictus Gaming were very close. They've been doing a great job with a lot of these rounds. It's just that FAV have been able to do what's needed to get by. It just feels like it's a matter of time, but sometimes that time can just fade away, and sometimes teams will come back. So, look, we'll wait and see what FAV have in store. Right now, Invictus Gaming looks like they're changing their approach a little bit to this attack. Last time it was very much from the garage, a garage-heavy side push. They got 3 players over on the Visa admin side now, though, so maybe they are just going to go hard for the vertical here and try and push these FAV players out a bit earlier.
Patience certainly starts to pay off here for the attacking side, and oi, Speakeasy just getting off the rappel in time number 2, unfortunately not catching the timing. Now Jordan's still watching that line straight through from Princess, so Typon needs to be a little bit cautious how he deals with this. Jordan's actually not watching it whatsoever, more so cautious of the run out. And FAV now in a man disadvantage. I mean, this is an awkward one to play for with no C4 either. Number 2's is gone. And the information, you know, there's no Valk, there's no Pulse, but Shin's doing a great job of bringing this back.
Great job from Shin there. Number 2 also jumping into the kill feed. This is going to give FAV a bit of an opportunity. It's really good trading from both teams here. 3 versus 3 coming into this final minute. This Gaming have finally cleared out this top floor, but where to from here? Still quite a few things in their way that they have to try and manage. Shin on site is one of them, and he hits a beautiful shot onto Hysterics.
That is nutty. Really puts FAV in the driver's seat for this round. They've got a player flanking up yellow stairs as well, which Joe needs to be cautious of. They hadn't taken out default. Oh, they're going to double up. This is massive from FAV. Both players caught on Spiral. This has to be confirmed here. Actually, it's not both players on Spiral. It's just one. Luna is all the way outside, picking up the diffuser. And in a 1 versus 3 clutch, FAV are bringing this back and making it possible.
Ooh. Oh. Yes, I mean, Luna could definitely clutch this. 2 players to find 30 seconds. Now, default up again. He's going to shoot that at least. Old info, but with 20 seconds, drops below Manic. Can Luna Metal make this happen for the map win?
He should definitely be able to get this diffuser down. He's got a smoke in the pocket, but he's just going to stick this. FAV, what is their response? Surely they will have some kind of information as to the placement. He's got to be careful of the first player. He deals with him. Goodness me! Not a 1v3 clutch from Luna to win the map! What a performance from Luna in the final round. Invictus take FAV's map pick away and go 1-up in the series.
Massive 1v3 from Luna to win that. That is just absolutely unreal. He's going to be happy with himself for that, and I think IG will generally be happy with themselves for taking FAV's map pick off them. Really great start to this series to them. They are 1 step closer and progressing deeper in this lower bracket.
Crazy, crazy